Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends, as this video is brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. It's the first look for week number 6 with my friend Maddie Kroll. What's up, Maddie? Nice jersey.
Thank you. I had to rock the jersey. What a performance Monday night.
So my son, who I just called before, was up by 35 points, and his opponent had Mark Andrews. And I said, you're going to win. He wakes up the next morning. He goes, the guy put up 41 points. I lost.
And most of it was in the second half.
I mean, epic. Lamar Jackson was epic.
He was Superman. He couldn't have played better football in that second half.
And it's funny because the Colts defense is pretty good. And I was just a little surprised with them playing so well to just, fold like that.
Once it started rolling, I don't think that he could have been stopped. I really don't think so. And even Hollywood Brown was on. It was just beautiful all the way around. But no, Hot Mark with the hot hands killed it. So I've got to rock the jersey.
Oh my God, what's his face? Hollywood Brown I had last year.
Mm-hmm.
This guy dropped more passes over a season. He had to drop 15 passes last season. Easy. And this season he dropped a bunch. That game against the Lions, the ball literally hit him in the hands.
Oh, several times. Mm-hmm. He's not consistent.
No, not consistent. By the way, OU played Texas, and it was a very, really wasn't an exciting game at all.
When I tell you my anxiety was through the roof, I was like, oh my gosh. And I love it because, did you see Baker's travel look?
No.
Baker had on his OU hat. He had on this shirt that has Oklahoma above Texas, and it says, we're still on top. And he's horns down. And it was just so on brand. I loved it. It's when OU bonds with, I would say just the Big 12, but literally everybody hates Texas. So it's one of the best weeks of the year.
Do you think Texas cares that other people hate them?
Like Texas team or?
Like Texas fans. Do you think they care that people hate them?
I think they like to argue it. But I didn't know this until I went to college and I was taking a marketing class, but they make so much money off of all the stickers that we buy that is like horns down, and shirts that we buy horns down. That's branded. So they're making all of that money.
Do you know that the Texas A&M fight song has the University of Texas in it?
No.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I don't think I've ever listened to their fight song.
So we lived in College Station, right?
Okay.
So one of the songs is like "Goodbye to Texas University," and they're basically talking about UT. Like, why would you put another school in your fight song? What's up with that? It's a good fight song and all, and Aggie fans are awesome, but I just wouldn't. I would never do that.
I probably wouldn't either. But it's like everybody's bonding moment, Everybody hates Texas unless you're in Texas.
Right. It's true. Good point.
Yeah.
All right. It is time for week 6. It's time for bye weeks, Maddie. Bye weeks start changing the fantasy landscape. We've got Atlanta, New Orleans, San Francisco, and of course the New York Jets out. I'm trying to think. Looking at Alvin Kamara, Kyle Pitts, Cordell Patterson, Deebo Samuel. Do you have a lot of teams where guys are out?
I actually don't have very many teams where guys are out, but I have a lot of friends who do. I will say, if for some reason you were in the position that you needed a quarterback this week, I think I would go with Wentz.
Totally. And his schedule moving forward is pretty good.
Yeah. And minimum for this week, but the Colts didn't look bad against the Ravens. And I know that the Ravens defense honestly kind of looked terrible, but they performed well, especially offensively.
They did. What do you think about the Colts moving forward?
I don't think that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl.
That's an understatement of the year. Do you like Jonathan Taylor?
Trying to stay positive. I love Jonathan Taylor. I have Jonathan Taylor on one of my teams. I like Pittman.
Okay. I do too.
And really what it comes down to is Carson Wentz. That's a big factor. if he's able to, and it depends on the defense. Like, he's able to throw balls down the field. He can throw an accurate ball. So is the secondary the matchup's favorable? Are your wide receivers going to be able to beat the defense? Things like that. Quentin Nelson was a rough loss for the Colts. It changed their offensive line for a minute.
Let me give you a guy, Mo Alley Cox, starting to look better. Do you think he can keep it up?
Yeah, I think he's only going to progressively get better. Especially with, they have I don't want to say easy few games coming up, but they have a lighter schedule than what they've been faced with.
They do.
And that's a good confidence builder for a guy, especially if you've already gotten some momentum going.
Right. No, good point. I do like Wentz. I think he's a really good pickup this week. So if you're making moves, I like Wentz. All right, let's get to it. We got a lot to go through. Buccaneers and Eagles Thursday night. Dallas Goedert out with COVID. Tom Brady got an injured thumb going on there. Maybe it's this thumb, not that thumb. But it's something. Maybe too many video games.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I don't know if Tom Brady plays video games.
He's got kids.
I'd like to know that.
He does. Yeah.
He's made a couple of cameo appearances on TikTok.
So there you go.
Yeah, he can't dance, but he tries.
Doesn't matter.
On TikTok, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you'd say no to Tom Brady because, Tom, you can't dance well enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right. Who do you like in this game?
Like team-wise?
Yeah.
Bucks. I think the Eagles are okay. That they are still without Lane Johnson. I don't know when he's coming back. That's a big loss for their offensive line. So running the ball stresses me out. But I do like Devontae Smith. And I feel like Jalen Hurts is – the thing that sucks about Jalen is he can avoid tackles. He can get outside the pocket. But then it's like a 50-50 shot of whether or not he's going to be accurate or if he's going to make the right decision. Like, there'll be guys completely open and he overlooks it to try to throw into 3 defenders.
Right. But last week we saw the best and worst of Jalen Hurts. He ran the ball, looked good, but he couldn't throw it. Looked bad. They win the game miraculously because I didn't think they were going to. But you're playing the Buccaneers now. If you don't score most every time, are you going to win?
I mean, their secondary is awful. And if he can throw the ball this week, I mean, Devontae Smith won't be able to be stopped. If he can get him the ball, it's just going to be lights out all day long.
All right. Dolphins and Jaguars in good old London. The Dolphins defense stinks. By the way, the Jaguars stink. Trevor Lawrence stinks. Stinks. I mean, can I tell you so? All right. Ready? I'm going to go on a limb here. Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence. You know who the best quarterback is this year?
Who are you calling?
Mac Jones.
This year?
Just this year. In the NFL, he's been the best rookie quarterback.
I think that a lot of that has to do with the way they've been coaching him. But, yeah, I agree. He's been performing the best. Yeah.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence looks bad.
What do you expect, though?
I expected Andrew Luck. I expected Captain Andrew Luck.
I mean, we talked about this last week, but, like, at this point, let him run plays that he ran at Clemson.
I know, we said that. You were right. I agree with you.
There's nothing else you can do at this point.
Yeah, it is not good. I'm not thrilled. And by the way, Laviska Shenault last week, I went downstairs to my refrigerator and I looked at my milk carton because I thought he was there because I couldn't find him. He had nothing for the first 3 quarters. Are you kidding me?
I actually think that he's a decent start this week. Playing the Dolphins.
That's true. All right, I'll give you that, but I'm not buying it. Okay, Packers and Bears. Justin Fields played a little better. Damian Williams looked pretty good. Jason Braddock, Khalil Herbert, who I did mention in the last week's show, 75 yards. You didn't even know who he was, and I throw it out there, right?
You did throw it out there, yeah.
Yeah. What about the Packers? How good are they?
The Packers aren't bad. They're actually playing well. Devontae Adams. I mean, like, I feel like I need to bow down.
We're not worthy of how good he is, right?
Yeah. Okay, you're going to think I'm crazy. I would not start Aaron Rodgers this week if you have better options. Why?
On a bye week? Seriously, on a bye week?
Yeah.
You got a lot of guys on bye. Who are you starting instead?
Well, if you have the opportunity to get a better look.
I think you start Aaron Rodgers every week unless you have Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson or somebody better. Because what if Aaron Rodgers throws for 240 yards and 3 touchdowns?
Do you think he will, though?
The Bears are not good.
They're like 4th in DVOA, right? They're 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, but what the Packers do better than most teams, they run, which sets up the pass. Nobody in the Bears can stop Devontae Adams. A.J. Dillon looked really good.
That's true.
He looked really good, by the way. Not just good, really good.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
we'll see how it is. I still want to start him, but we'll see how it goes.
I'll text you and say, Maddie, you were right. And then I will come on the air and say you were right.
I'll text you if that happens. I'll let you know you were right. Okay. By the way, I feel like I don't want to make any more bold predictions because I feel like I ruined the whole running record for the Ravens because I was like, Lamar's going to throw for over 300, and I feel like I just ruined that because
they heard you. They listened to our show and heard it.
The universe was like, all right, she manifested this, so there goes the run. Dang.
All right, Bengals and Lions. I felt so badly for the Bengals last week. I mean, 2 long field goals. The guy hits the post on both of them. Come on, McPherson.
That's how I felt about the Lions all year long also. I mean, talk about like gut-wrenching losses. I'm actually really excited about this game because I think it's going to be a good game.
Dan Campbell was crying in the press conference. Did you see it?
I did not see that. I didn't watch the press conference.
He was literally crying.
Can you blame him?
No. Well, do you want your teammates to see your guys to see you cry?
I mean, I'm like, okay, he cares.
I think welling up is good. I don't know if I'd go actual full tear.
Full on ugly cry.
I go, you'd see like a little stuff underneath, when you're at a movie and you're like looking at the girl that you're with and you're making sure she's crying because you're like welling up type of thing.
See, I've never been in that position because I'm just like, if I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry.
You go
most of the time, like if you're going to do something, I mean, commit.
Do you cry at movies? Are you a movie crier?
Yeah.
Because I am. My wife.
I cry at commercials.
What's that?
I cry at commercials.
Oh, I do too sometimes.
Very in touch with myself. Listen, I am super big empath. I can feel other people's emotions. So like, it just sometimes it gets to you. And you know what? If I'm hangry, it's going to be 10 times worse. Cry over the fact that I don't know what I want for dinner. Done that a few times.
Do you ever get to a menu and nothing looks good? Where you just don't want anything on this menu?
I've literally gone to bed like starving because I'm like I couldn't decide what I wanted and I was so emotionally exhausted from like having to choose what I wanted that I just went to bed. Tried again in the morning.
Texans at Colts. We talked about this game. I'm going to move on. Rams at Giants. The Giants. I really feel badly for the Giants. I mean, Saquon.
They've lost. Yeah.
Everybody. Literally everybody.
Who do they even have that's from their starting lineup?
Well, I didn't want to tell you. I may not be here next week, Maddie, because I will be flying into New York to play for the Giants as their receiver. Yeah, because Shepard's out, Slayton's out, Tony's hurt, Galladay's hurt. They need a guy with about 5'4" speed, so hands. I think I can play for them. Yeah, I'm ready.
We'll see. Let me know how that goes. I'll be watching.
What about the Rams? Matthew Stafford's looked off the last couple of weeks.
He has looked off, and I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint it, but I do feel like Matthew Stafford's going to come back. Henderson
has looked good, not great.
Against the Giants defense. Good.
Well,
he's going to run right through it. Yeah, absolutely.
I like Henderson this week. I'm a little annoyed with the whole Robert Woods Cooper Kupp thing because it was Kupp. Last week. Yeah. Matthew Stafford looked at Woods literally every first look.
Mm-hmm. I think some of that is, I don't know how to explain this. I call it film room destruction. It's like when you go in and you're breaking things down and you have a quarterback who's so hyper-focused on, okay, I got in trouble because I missed this guy multiple times. Then they're so honed in on him that they forget they're supposed to be doing a job and actually reading. I think that happens a lot. But I think that might be a thing with him.
I didn't think it was going to be a thing with him. I really didn't. But I can't tell you that he looked at him every first trip down. I mean, he looked at Woods first, and then he went to Cup. Where in weeks past, he was looking at Cup first. And then Woods. Right. So it was a little frustrating. I mean, honestly, it was a lot. It was a lot frustrating because I have Woods on one team and I have Cup on like 2 others. And it's just about me. It's all about me. Just want to.
It's all about you. It's all about you.
All right, Washington against Kansas City. Edwards-Helaire out. Kansas City looks terrible.
Terrible.
In DFS,
I have a few thoughts on that. But
all right, let me hear the thoughts on that.
I mean, if they want to hire me as a coach, let me know. I'll throw out my contact information. I've said it once. I've said it before. You have a run-blocking offensive line. Run the ball. Williams should get as many carries as possible. What's happening right now is the Kansas City defense is horrific. It's terrible. It's worse than what it was last year, and last year wasn't even good.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes has this type of savior complex. He's playing like he's behind from the get-go and just trying to be like the Messiah, throwing he's just so worked up in his head, he's getting in his own way. And I feel like Patrick Mahomes last week he was the problem, really. And what they need to do is they need to drive the ball down the field.
He has to do that.
Not from the get-go. Okay, they get up a touchdown, then start the hurry. But he had time. There were several looks where if he would calm down and they would run things to get the ball to the middle of the field, just run like little bits at a time. We don't need 40 yards every drive, like first down, 40 yards. That doesn't have to happen. Little bits at a time, and you're going to be okay. But they're not doing that, whether it's the play calling or Patrick Mahomes. And after watching last week's game, I feel like it's a lot of Patrick Mahomes.
You think well, look, I would argue that Mahomes, when you know that your defense stinks and you know that you've got injuries, you try to do more thinking that you are good enough to get it done by yourself. Is that fair?
And what team sport has that ever worked out?
NBA. I mean, did Michael Jordan don't guys take over games? Kobe and Jordan, all those guys take over games?
Michael Jordan wouldn't be anything without Scottie Pippen.
I wouldn't say that, but
I mean, he's great, but there's no way they would have won those championships without the team that they had. It was a huge deal. That was the whole thing with The Last Dance, is the fact that they were splitting the team up, and that was the recipe for success. I don't think that Patrick Mahomes is a bad quarterback, but I feel like Patrick Mahomes is in Patrick Mahomes' way right now, and I feel like
I think the offensive line. But you have Patrick Mahomes. You have the best quarterback of the last decade, easily.
Yeah.
And you're not protecting him. You don't have an offensive line who could protect those guys, not pass protect. Maybe they could run blockers, but they do not give him a lot of time.
What I'm watching, and this is where it gets hard, is because the Chiefs, the way that they do things is so off the wall. The way Andy Reid designs his schemes is insane. So it's really hard to see like what is their actual blocking assignment. But when you stop and you break down the film, he scrambles out of the pocket a lot of times thinking that it's going to collapse before it even happens. And yeah, from the center all the way over to the right, it's all basically rookies, because you had one guy that opted out last year, and then you have actual 2 rookies at center. And so like, I get that the confidence isn't there, but there's a lot of times where that pocket would hold up if he would. There was a couple times all he had to do was step up into the pocket and he'd have a throw, and he didn't. Instead, he tried to scramble out and run off, and that's not ever going to work.
I think he's just trying to do too much.
Exactly. That's what. Yes. Yeah. I don't think the offensive line is the issue, and I'll scream that until I die, because what I'm watching, it's unbelievable. They're actually pretty decent, especially in zone. When they shift over, what happens when you're facing a zone defense on the offensive line? You shift everybody over because you're trying to protect the left side's the weak side. Everybody knows that, right? So your right tackle and your right guard end up going man. That's the best case scenario for a rookie offensive lineman, because all that comes down to is fundamentals, right? So if their fundamentals are okay, they're going to be fine. And from a lot of what I've been seeing, he's just not trusting that that's going to happen. And he panics and tries to do too much. Like, relax, trust the line. It's been okay.
Okay, but they also have the wrong, you're going to think I'm nuts by saying this. Somebody's going to think I'm nuts by saying this. They're missing a key receiver.
No, I don't think you're nuts.
Tyreek Hill is, you need to have time to throw him the ball because he's making those, the deep runs downfield. Kelsey needs some time to get open because you're right, he's blocking first and then going off the line. They're missing, to me, a slot receiver.
100%.
A Jarvis Landry, even a Danny Amendola, somebody who can just be like
I had this argument the other day. Beasley would be a perfect fit there.
I was just going to say Cole Beasley. And just going to say his name.
They literally argued. It was one of my patients. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but I was like, you are insane. Listen, his name's Steve.
Is that when you put your hand over his face and said, don't talk?
I should have done it. But I like literally looked at him and I was like, I can't argue with you anymore. But 100%, Cole Beasley would be 10 times better with the Chiefs right now than what he is with the Bills. He can't 100%. Compete with the Bills' talent.
He needs a route runner who can run a 5-yard pattern quickly, find him the ball, and go. Anybody for 3rd and 3 because Tyreek needs too much time to get down, right? And Kelsey needs time to get off the line, and he doesn't have anybody.
And they need somebody who can get vertical too. You have Tyreek Hill
gets vertical. That's why they brought Josh Gordon in.
I always forget about Josh Gordon.
That's why they brought him in, because he gets vertical. Of course, he gets stoned as he's getting vertical. Yeah. But did I say that? I'm sorry.
We were all thinking it. It's fine. You guys got me on my soapbox. I'm sorry.
By the way, 2 minutes on this, maybe less. John Gruden. Any thoughts? Besides the why?
That's kind of how I feel. At this point, I don't even want to give it any more attention because I think the things that I've read about it, absolutely disgusting. And I think that was the best thing that could have happened is you get to leave.
I don't condone anything he said. My only problem is, why does it come out years later when they're doing an investigation of some other franchise? Like, shouldn't this have come out at the time?
But why would you be in someone's emails at the time? Exactly. So the question is why all of these people who were CC'd on the emails, why did they not come forth and say, hey, this doesn't seem right, this isn't fair? Like, I understand that question, but at the same time, like, the league's not going to be sifting through people's emails.
No, nobody should be sifting through emails, right? But still, it just seems like it's just weird, the timing aspect of it. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Minnesota against the Panthers. Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey, please let them play in this game, Maddie. Please. I beg you.
Listen, my Run CMC team needs Christian McCaffrey to, like, come back healthy. I hope he's available. I do.
I think he will be. How about that? I think he will be.
You think he's going to start?
I think he will start. I think he was close.
Do you think he's going to perform well? That's my question.
Yes, because the Vikings over pursue.
Oh, that's true.
And because they have such an aggressive defensive line, I think this could be a good week for him. I do.
Yeah. I agree with Cooks, though. He's grown on me a lot.
Dalvin Cook or Brandon Cooks? I like Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's good. See, I saw Dalvin Cook because down here in Florida, from Florida State, the dude he just couldn't stay healthy in the NFL. But when he's healthy, he's literally the second best running back in the NFL besides McCaffrey.
McCaffrey's just beautiful. The things that he does, beautiful.
All right, Chargers at your Ravens.
Man, oh man, oh man.
Can anybody stop Justin Herbert? I say no.
Herbert's hard to stop. How do you stop Justin Herbert? Like, that's truly the question. How do you stop Justin Herbert? It's probably not going to be with the Ravens defense.
Not with the Ravens defense. And the truth is, as long as Mike Williams is healthy, I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say that my bet for this game, it's going to be a high scoring game.
Oh yeah, I think so too. The Chargers defense is not good. I mean, the thing is,
they're 31st in VBOA.
Correct. And the Ravens are going to run the ball down their throats. I'm convinced of that.
100%. And I literally said that to people. I was like, do not expect Lamar Jackson to be throwing up the crazy air yardage that he was, because it's going to be a run heavy time.
Big time run heavy. Big time. All right.
I do think that Mark Andrews is still going to be a good target.
Mark Andrews is always a good target.
He got off to a kind of slow start this season.
He did, but then he caught fire in the game against the Lions. In DFS, I had him that week. Everybody was on TJ Hawkinson, and I pivoted to Andrews, and he's been really good ever since.
He's been killing it. He's such a good mismatch. Okay.
All right, I have a comment. Cardinals are playing the Browns. The Browns put up 42 points last week. They run for 230 yards. Odell Beckham Jr., 2 for 20. That is, Baker hates Beckham. I really want you know Baker. I want you to call him up, get him on the phone. I want him to come on here, and I want him to tell us the truth that he hates Odell Beckham Jr.
I don't know Baker like that. No. I know other guys like that. Not Baker. There was a couple. It wasn't all just him, though, because there's a couple bad balls that Baker threw, too. I was like, are you kidding? We talked about this last week. I'm not going to back off. Run the ball. Browns.
Did.
I know.
For 230 yards rushing, you can't ask for more than that.
You can't. Well, you can't just put the ball in Baker's hand and have him throw it down the field. It's not always going to be pretty. Sometimes you might look into it, but it's not a trusty thing to fall back on.
Look, he's not good. He's above average. I mean, that's the best I'm giving you. He's above average. Telling you. He's not. I will not call him a good NFL quarterback. He is above average. I don't know whether, and here's what we're going to find out. I don't know whether you may be able to get to a Super Bowl with Baker, maybe if the defense plays well, but you're not winning a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield.
I think that you could definitely get to the Super Bowl with that. The team, they're stacked on both sides of the ball. Offensive line is good. I don't know that you'd win.
Not winning. I mean, look, you got to the Super
Bowl
with Jared
they have
Goff.
To beat out, yeah.
But are you going to beat? So Baker, right?
Well, the other part about it is like, I don't see them beating the Bills.
Well, I agree with that. Look,
Bills, so it's hard.
Bills were the best team by far this week. They look great.
Bills are beautiful, and not just this week. It's sustainable, and that's what you look for. The Cowboys, I would agree, the same thing. I think it's sustainable.
Right. Anyway. Can I tell you why I love the Bills? Am I allowed to tell you?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Their head coach and their offensive coordinator both went to my college.
Oh, that's the only reason? True to your alma mater?
It's pretty good reason.
I like it. I mean, it's fair.
It's a pretty good reason. Plus,
still wearing jerseys from the guys that I went to college with.
Exactly. So were you friends with him in school?
Mark, kind of. Fun fact, real big crush on Mark Andrews whenever he was in college.
Did he know?
He ended up finding out because it's like this whole big thing. So this jersey that I have, it says Hot Mark on the back. And the reason why it says that is because I lost in fantasy. One of my league losses.
Oh, look at that. Hot Mark in the back. There we go. Okay.
So Tequila really screwed me. I'm terrible with nicknames. And thought he was cute, obviously. I told you I lived with some of the team. We were out at the bar one night, and Mark never went out. Like, Mark, that's not his thing. He's like in bed by 9 p.m., like just pretty straight laced when it came to stuff like that. So he comes out one night and I'm plastered, like real drunk. And I was like, oh my God, Hot Mark's here. And the guys were like, what? And one of them was like, you've got to be kidding me. And they're like, Hot Mark, screaming in this like very small bar. And he was like he walked over and I was just like mortified. So like, I know that they told him. So it was like a thing. So then I was like, like Hot Mark because of his hot hands, like trying to make it.
Good try. Yeah, good
trying. And Tequila just didn't let me get there. So anyways, I lost in fantasy last year. So the guy who picked my punishment made me wear this jersey.
Now, I don't know whether I should ask this question, but I will anyway. Did we ever hook up with Mark Andrews?
No, we're not going there.
I'm going to go yes then. Okay. All right. Raiders and Broncos. Let's move on quickly. The John Gruden-less Raiders, the Broncos with Teddy Two Gloves. Javonte Williams had one great run, Maddie. But if you take that run out, he was 7 for 12.
Still filling him this week. Who else do they have?
What's that?
I said, who else do they have right now? that's going to perform well.
Melvin Gordon. I mean, but I'm saying Javonte Williams had, if you take out his 49-yard run, he had 7 rushes for 12 yards. So he's good, but he's not doing enough to earn that job full time, is what I'm saying.
I think he's a decent start for this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Raiders are reeling, by the way.
It's a good matchup.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're the Raiders, how do you bounce back from this?
It's going to be rough. Don't run Josh Jacobs.
I mean, look, I think a lot of people, I don't know if you saw Keyshawn Johnson was crapping all over Gruden. All these people are coming out saying all these things. He's fraud, you know. I don't know how a team recovers from that. I think it sets you back. Even if the new guy coming in is a great guy, you like him, you know, you're not changing the schemes. It's just the Raiders could lay a big egg this week.
They could. This goes one of two ways when massive things like this happen. Either it bonds a team and they come out and they play lights out this first game, or it's just too much and they crap the bed.
And which one do you think we're going to see?
It depends. They have the tools to go out and perform. They do. We've watched it happen. I don't know. Derek Carr is going to be able to stay level-headed. It depends on who's going to step in and lead this team. I just don't know the dynamic well enough to be able to say yes or no. Because the thing is the Broncos, like, I don't have confidence that they're going to be able to come out and if the Raiders are performing well, the Raiders are going to win.
Okay, really?
I think so.
Even with all this crap that's happened.
Even with all this crap, if they come out and perform well.
It's a tough one. I'm not going to say no. I'm just going to say I'm waiting to see. All right. Cowboys and Patriots. Mm-hmm. Dak Prescott is playing at a really high level right now. Zeke Elliott looks tremendous. Tony Pollard looks great. CD Lamb looks good.
The offensive line looks great. The defense looks great. Who do you think is a better receiver out of the Diggs brothers? Because at this point, Stephon or Trayvon?
Yeah, I know. Look, here's the truth. We are all angry at Stephon Diggs because we thought that he was going to be like a second-round pick and give us that kind of value. Mm-hmm. He's still giving fourth-round value, but they've got Sanders, they got Beasley, and they got Dawson Knox. He's spreading the ball.
Yeah.
Right? He's spreading the ball, and I can't blame them for that. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't just go to one guy when you have multiple guys there.
And it's harder to defend when you're changing it up the way that they are. They're all over the place offensively with their schemes, and it's beautiful because nobody can stop them.
Right. I mean, they are a very, very well-coached team, clearly. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you a guy, Maddie. I'm giving you my guy this week. I gave you Khalil Herbert last week. Did I not? Did I tell you Damian Harris was going to score a touchdown?
You did.
I did. Damian Harris will not be starting at running back for the Patriots this week.
Who's it going to be?
Ramondre Stevenson.
Why?
Because Damian Harris has fumbled twice or 3 times in the last couple of games, including one in the end zone. He injured his rib, and I think Bill Belichick is done. Stevenson looked pretty good when he played last week, and I think this is a week to give Harris a breather, and you watch Stevenson come in. If I do one prop bet this week, it's Stevenson scoring an anytime touchdown. Book it.
Do you think that they're going to be utilizing running backs all that much this week? Because I don't.
No, and that's a good point. But Dallas, this game is not going to be a high-scoring game. Dallas wants to run the football. Mm-hmm. So I don't see Dak throwing for 400 yards in this game. I see Dak being his usual efficient self, 23 for 30, maybe 280 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns. But they're going to run the ball 30 times between Pollard and Zeke. Conversely, I don't know whether Mac Jones can throw a Trayvon Diggs because that dude is the best Diggs right now in the family.
He's going to be – if you throw to that side, he's taking it home.
He is. He's really good. But I think Stevenson gets 15 carries this week for 75 yards and a touch.
It's just hard because that defensive front has actually been pretty good.
Look, you got to take risks, and that's my risk.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you.
I mean, teach your own. I think that Mac Jones is going to be throwing the ball a lot, which is going to be scary because you have Diggs. It's just like, it's crazy to watch him. It's actually really fun because he lets the guy like get ahead of him and cheats because he's that confident that he's going to be able to go pick up the ball. And it's just beautiful. It's effortless every time.
Right. He's got closing speed.
Closing speed. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
All right. Steelers, Seahawks, no Russell Wilson. You've got Geno Smith. I'm sure you have him on all your fantasy rosters. And then the Steelers, no Juju. So you've got Claypool and you got Deontay Johnson. I love Claypool this week.
Claypool's going to be your guy. He was on my start. Claypool's your guy.
Yeah.
I'm actually not even excited about watching this game. I'm probably going to watch this game because I have to, and it's probably not going to be all of it.
Right. Like you're in the industry. Now you feel like you have to watch the game.
Yeah. Because people ask me questions, and I'm going to have to be able to know things, but I'm not excited.
Yeah. Okay, last one for us. Bills and Titans. Derrick Henry may have to run for 490 yards in this game.
490 yards. So,
because the Bills are winning.
It's the only chance. Bills are going to demolish.
Allen's going to shred that secondary. Literally, I think as we just spoke, he had another touchdown.
Sanders. If you have Sanders this week, wow.
All day.
Even Zach Moss.
Who looks, by the way, I think he's running back 18.
Listen, I wrote this article about how the offensive line was going to be matched up, and Zach Moss was like my guy that I was like, watch for him. It's going to happen. Also, Knox. I was even surprised with Zach Moss. It's beautiful.
By the way,
I thought
can I say something before you? Can I say something?
Oh, yeah.
Your article was great.
Oh, thank you. That was my very first article, so I was very stressed out about that.
It was really good. It was really, for a first article, really good. Really good. I'm not just saying really good.
Thank you. But I thought that he was going to go out and he was going to be set up for success. I feel like he went out, he was set up for success, but he just dominated. He looked great. And I think it's only up from here. I think that was the confidence that he needed to really get on with it more. I'm excited. This Bills team has me so excited. Sorry.
They are. So look, Devin Singletary and Zach Moss were like this. Mm-hmm. And then some games would be Singletary and some games would be Moss. You don't know, right?
But now Singletary was getting
Moss, more. Mm-hmm. Right?
It's because Singletary was getting more reps, but Moss was actually coming out more efficient. Right. Wild.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Any prediction or no prediction? Or your only prediction is there'll be no prediction this week?
I don't even want to make predictions now.
Okay, so let's not. Let's just enjoy the games.
Let's enjoy the games. But I feel like I want to hear your prediction because yours are pretty spot on.
I just gave you Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did. Okay.
Nobody's got that one.
I will also say last
Chase Claypool with 2.
With 2?
Touchdowns.
Minimum.
Ooh.
I think that there's a good chance
is the universe feeling this?
Oh, man. Now I'm going to have to watch the game.
Yeah.
I will say
3 touchdowns.
You told me to come up with a name for Najee Harris because I was like, there's got to be some good ones. Apparently, I suck at nicknames. But I couldn't come up with anything that was good.
Hot Najee.
Doesn't work. Just does not work. You know, that's more of like a tight end thing.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll think about that. So we need a Najee Harris, Naj.
Yeah. It's just it's hard, you know, because Najee's such a different name, anyways.
If you gave me 1,000,000 years and Mrs. Roto and I had 1,000,000 children. Which, by the way, that'd be a lot.
So many kids.
Yeah, I don't think Najee Roto would be a name we'd ever come up with, you know?
I don't think so. There's a couple names. It's just like, first of all, like, the poor kid had to learn how to spell that.
Luckily, it's only 5 letters.
But that's still hard.
5 letters?
Especially like I was a hooked on phonics kid. So like I read phonetically. So I've called him Najee, Naj.
Right,
like
Najee.
the amount of times I've mispronounced his name, unbelievable. But it's fine because I mean he's great. Everybody knows who you're talking about. You just add in the last name and it's fine.
Yeah, Najee Harris.
Yeah.
Just goes.
Najee Harris. It's like their signatures where they have like their first initial and then it just scribbles.
End, right.
That's how I talk sometimes.
Right. All right, guys. It's time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Thank you for joining me and Maddie. We'll be back next week So be well. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.